the studio of your mom's basement comes a podcast by two idiots in a revolving door of legends and has-beens from the oldest university in Texas. This is Purple, Gold, and Getting Old.
We're going to get canceled 10 seconds into this. I love it.
I hope so. Emily told me, she goes, man, I hope, don't say anything that's like going to get like the board of nursing to revoke your license. I said, oh, babe, I got to do something way worse to get my license revoked than talk to these guys.
You know, I actually have been nervous in the past about, well, and when I say the past, I mean, every time I do book editing, I'm like, can they revoke my bachelor's and I retain my master's from another school? Like, does your master's automatically get DQ'd if the undergrad institution revokes?
You know what, though? Nobody cares about you having a degree past you getting into your first job, so it wouldn't matter none anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need anything from UMHB right now. I'm not going back to get a master's. I don't need any transcripts. So, you know, we're just gonna say stuff and let it happen.
It would be kind of hilarious because I could walk around saying, I have a master's. And then, where'd you get your bachelor's from? Well, technically, I don't. Just one or the other.
Me being in the pastoral, man, almost any story, I'm start like tensing up, like, where is this going?
Oh, the glories of not working in higher education anymore.
Right.
Oh, geez. Well, happy Valentine's Day, boys. I'm pretty sure we're the only three people I know that don't celebrate, you know, and our wives. So,
yeah.
The only way me and Emily celebrate is we send those like really dirty and goofy like fake Valentine's Day cards with like puns from like Harry Potter or like and stuff, like a Voldemort being, or not Voldemort, one of the Dementors being like, souls aren't the only thing, I suck, and stuff like that.
Emily's got on a kick of giving me like I guess funny innuendo cards over the last 2 years. It's been a great new tradition to start.
This one's not dirty, but I liked that Dak Prescott one I sent y'all. It's like, are you a $40 million contract? Because I don't deserve you. The Houston Texans, late to the game as usual, tried to post a bunch of funny ones tonight, and they just it was kind of like their football game. They just some incomplete throws, and the comments were kind of rough. But oh well. Well,
hey, D'Amico's come back home. It's our time.
It's our time. Cliff Kingsbury, dude. Did you hear about that?
No, I heard they got him out of Thailand, but I didn't know if they offered him a job or what.
Allegedly, they're supposed to tell us soon that he's going to be the OC. I was like, all right,
I'm home to Texas, Cliff.
Yeah, he's always done well in Houston.
So. Yeah, I mean, he's a Patriots throwback, so yeah, we definitely want him. That's what the Texans do. They just take all the Patriots like trash leftovers and hope it works.
Yeah, I mean, at least now that we're going with our own leftovers, we can win 4 or 5 games instead of 3. It's going to be great, and we're going to have new uniforms to do it. So let's go.
Yeah,
y'all going to have Bryce Young. Caine's going to be happy if that works out.
We might.
I don't know. I mean, I want Bryce Young to do well, but I just don't want him to have to go to the dumpster fire that is the Houston Texans.
Well, the only place worse a quarterback can go is Cleveland, so at least we got that.
Right.
Andy texted me a thing about Jerry Jones wanting to possibly draft Hendon Hooker. I'm like, dude, I would become the biggest like Dak hater in the world. I'm like, get him out of there. Get Hooker in. Let's go.
I don't know if I can take another one of your I'm back into NFL fandom phases.
I've never really been into it.
Somewhere there was well, you would root for the Titans just to troll us in college, but
no, I didn't do it to troll you. I did it because when I first started watching NFL in junior high, I started cheering for the Titans, and Steve McNair was like one of my early favorite quarterbacks to root for. And so if I'm rooting for somebody in the AFC, it is the Titans. But like, I root for them like I do the Cowboys. So I'm like, yeah, in theory, like I'd like for you to do well, but like I don't really care.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's I would say let's jump in. We just did, because anyone that knows us knows that there is no like turn your blinker on and get onto the ramp way about us. You just go for it. So, folks, welcome Caine Taylor.
Glad to be here, boys. First time caller, long time listener.
There we go. Love it. Well, and I think is Caine the only one whose wife made it onto the podcast before he did?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So yeah,
I'd say that's an
There's a
honor.
lot of people that made it on this thing before I did, and I'm not going to say that I'm upset about it, but I mean,
y'all, he texted me like 3 or 4 episodes in, like, when's my episode? And I'm like, we're gonna build an audience before the Tuck series. And then we got to the point where it's like, okay, we've been ghosted by like 5 or 6 people. Let's just start the Tuck series.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Have fun with your commercials. All right, so
Is she in commercials?
she's
What?
like, yeah, she's like doing a lot of that. And I was like, dude, that'd be a great
OnlyFans probably
interview.
doesn't count.
What?
OnlyFans probably doesn't count, does it?
We would
Honestly,
like for
I
our
mean, if
guests.
it makes your money, whatever, man, get after it.
Yeah. Caine,
Make
if
it
you
more than me,
would,
probably.
if you would post your OnlyFans link in the comments section so we can all check that out later, we'd greatly
Sure.
appreciate it.
That's where the pod needs to expand next, to starting
There we go.
fans.
I told some people I'm gonna start one for my music and call it Lonely Fans, so that you know,
There you go.
y'all and my mother and 3 other people who listen can check it out. Yeah, but Caine Taylor, met him. So we were gonna bring the bros on the like the order that we all met, and that quickly collapsed. But
Yeah.
I mean, we all met within like a 2-year time span, so it works. But what brought you to UMHB?
What brought me to UMHG? Wow. I thought that I was going to be some big baseball player, and that UMHB was the place for me to do that. And sure enough, turned out that that wasn't the case. I played for about 2 years. It was painfully obvious that I needed to be in the classroom more than on the baseball field, and it was showing in my grades. And I was like, you know what, it's time. I'm not having much fun anymore. Baseball is not gonna take me anywhere. I need to let's get real about an education and in a future. And so that's when I really got involved and started hanging out with Garrett and Nathan and Andy and Tyler. And I stopped playing baseball, and I actually had a lot more free time, obviously. But and then I decided, my degree plan was exercise science. I could have either gone and done teaching and coaching, could have gone and worked in an exercise phys lab. None of those just sounded interesting to me. And I ended up saying, you know what, I'll just finish out my exercise science degree, and let's go to nursing school. So I graduated UMHB in May of 11, started nursing school in August of 11, and then fully graduated from nursing school in December of 12, and then started working as an ER nurse.
You know what's hilarious to me about that is that, for all that time we hung out in college, we were never roommates, but then we were like roommates when you were in nursing school.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, that point in our lives, we needed each other more than we realized, and how kind of great that was that you were able to live with me.
No joke. Before jumping like ahead of the whole story, we'll go back. I thought of this today, and I asked it a long time ago and completely forgot, or I've never asked you this. Did you was baseball the reason you didn't go to Alabama? Because I have never met a bigger Alabama family than yours.
Yeah. So I grew up watching Alabama football. My mom went to Alabama. My dad went to Alabama. That's where they met. My dad's parents went to the University of Alabama. And so that's what I grew up on. Like kids growing up in Houston, Texas, grew up watching UT and A&M, watching those football games on Saturday. Well, on Saturdays we watched Alabama, and that's what I grew up and wanted to go there. I took a visit to the University of Alabama, and I was quite overwhelmed by the size and the number of people there. The high school I went to in Houston was a small little private school. I graduated with 69 people in my class. I had known a small community for a really long time, and then to have to all of a sudden expand and branch out was, I think, overwhelmed me more than I thought it would. And I was like, I just don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And I think that's kind of another thing that led me to UMHB was like, hey, I don't think I could get lost in the shuffle here. It's not going to be terrible.
I can relate it because I still wanted to go to A&M, but they didn't have my degree plan or the financial aid package I needed, which people look at me funny. I'm like, yeah, I actually did get more money to go to Baptist college, how it worked out. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like I'd have still gone if they had my degree. But man, I was actually internally, I was terrified of being with that many people trying to adjust to the college life. Because I had a bad GPA my first year at UMHB. Like I went from horrible GPA, like 2.5, 2.6, all the way to like Dean's List. I did great, but like trying to do that first year adjustment A&M probably would have killed me. So
yeah. Campus size was a big thing for me too, because like similar story to you. Like my mom went to UT and a bunch of cousins and grandparents and stuff, and like that was just kind of where I thought I might be going. And then they didn't have my major, but then dude, just the size too, because my mom really started pushing Baylor, and like even Baylor, I'm like, seems like a lot of people.
For our listeners to know, he's talking about the Orange UT that did beat Alabama once in the last
the
20
real
years.
UT. Yeah.
The other one doesn't know how to do that.
If it weren't for the Tennessee Volunteers, the University of Texas would be UT Mexico, or it'd be the University of Mexico at Austin. So
I thought of it, and I almost sent this to you last. I read something last week saying that's not as accurate as everyone thinks it is. I always thought that was the case.
Hey! You shut your mouth.
Crockett brought his daughters and like 5 friends. He didn't actually bring a bunch of people.
And you know what? His daughters saved America.
Well, they didn't save the Alamo, so good job. Well, all that to say, so like I wondered that today as I was thinking, I was like, oh, we got a podcast, and I was like, I gotta ask him why he didn't go to Bama, but that makes total sense. And
do you have any family members, like cousins, that ever gave you crap about it?
No, not really, because I guess my mom has 3 nephews. One of them, he unfortunately passed away while he was at the University of Alabama. He was unfortunately hit by a car crossing the street. Another one, he went to a small Division III school, and then her other son went to Virginia Tech. So it wasn't really a kind of a point of like discussion, like, oh, you're going to go to a small Division III school to play baseball. Okay. It just wasn't something that was brought up or talked about, but we all 3 of us still enjoyed watching and talking Alabama football together.
Yeah. You're one of those Alabama fans. I never questioned, and we're like Tyler rooting for Tennessee. Now you got all these people that like, oh, well, I grew up watching Vince Young, so I'm a Longhorn. I'm like, shut up. No, like if you have direct immediate family with a story from the place, it's like an entirely different deal.
The bandwagon fan is something that kind of eats at me a lot. If you have no affiliation or a loose affiliation, or you go, you're a fair weather fan, you're not on top of my list of people to talk sports with.
I don't have to worry about it. My school's a cult that scared everyone off, so we don't have bandwagoners.
I'm not sure Tennessee has bandwagon fans. I don't think that's possible.
Y'all kind of scare them off too.
Well, we scare them off in different ways.
Right.
You just throw mustard and golf.
Maybe like 15 years. We can't wait for that many years to beat Alabama. We can't do that.
Yeah, so you get there, and I didn't realize you played baseball 2 years. I thought you did.
I didn't either.
I thought you did the Berryman thing and just did 1.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense, because my freshman year, which would have been your sophomore year, like I don't remember seeing you at all. Like I ran into Emily, but I don't remember you at all until my sophomore year. So that makes sense.
Yeah, my freshman year, I did the whole like, yeah, you're here, but we're not going to suit you out. And I was like, okay, that's okay. And so I spent the summer playing summer league baseball around in Houston. Thought I'd gotten a little bit better, and the guys were head and shoulders above me at UMHB, and they weren't going to put me out there. No big deal. I mean, and I got to the point where like this isn't fun for me anymore. I only got a couple of years here at college. Let's go really enjoy it. And I thought what I really wanted was a group of guys, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of who appreciated teamwork, and I guess more like the teamwork aspect and the team and the camaraderie. I didn't get that at UMHB, but once I stopped, I really started finding it.
Interesting.
All the guys and we talked about on each dude's episode, but I feel like each one, it was kind of like an organic thing where one by one, it all kind of came together. Like it's like, folks, they don't make Tinder for finding friends. It's like they didn't even have that for dating while we were there. You just had everything had to happen organically. But it's unique for us because a lot of people they come together as a group because of Happy Times. I feel like for us, it was because we were like, it was like us versus the machine. And
Yeah.
I think for me, vividly remembering How I Met You was like, I've told the story before about how, I met you in passing at Getty's, and I'm like, who's this baseball player talking to Emily? I got to keep an eye out on this. And then, like, once I actually like met you a couple times, I'm like, that's a cool dude. Like, so, it wasn't until when Emily and I were running for that SGA race. I remember there was a controversial video involving a car, and I just
Was it like some
remember.
like White Snake?
Yeah, this may have been. I don't even know if I had posted the White Snake response yet or not. Which, by the way, that song came on my Spotify today. I started laughing. Um, I remember I get out of class, and anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, Caine's wife was just getting blasted on Facebook with a lot of very unfair character attacks. And I get out of class. I didn't text Emily, and I didn't even text Caine. I was like, I'm just gonna walk over to Caine's place because I was like, he's got to be fuming right now. I was pissed off. Caine's pissed off. I walk in, or I knock, and I open the door, and Caine's sitting on the couch, and we both just look at each other, and we just crack up laughing. Like, I think I walked in the room, we were pissed, and we just like bust out laughing without saying a word. And I'll have to issue a $2 fine here. Caine just looks at him and goes, "You ready to kick some?" I said, "I am." And so
I
it
think
was funny.
I was ready to kick that guy. Like he was telling me
Yeah.
that I was being a good spiritual leader, and that Emily had strolled far away, and that I should lead her back. And I'm like, no, she's a grown woman. She can make her own decisions. She knows what's up here.
Yeah, I feel like that if you know you and Emily at all, the notion of you being like, well, I'm gonna rope Emily in, I'm gonna set her straight.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna rope me in, and I wasn't gonna rope her in either.
No.
We're grown. We're grown. We can figure it out. I mean, yeah, we're grown 18, 19-year-olds, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We're dumb as hell, but
Actually, I don't think we ever.
Over the video that she made, like the campaign video out by the car.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we didn't realize that it was her opponent's car. It was like just walking around, and then I opened Facebook, and I've got like, why do I have 50 notifications? This is either really good or really bad. It was
that
he was always
incident is actually how I came
fun.
to like meet Emily, I guess, and know who she was.
Oh yeah.
I feel like after that, it was always fun to see how many notifications could we get on like Garrett's Facebook profile just to antagonize people by what we did. And like, okay, well, Garrett got 50 last time. Let's see if we can get this up now.
I think the record was 68 or something. I'm like,
yeah,
I just needed one more. But I have a file in our filing cabinet that still has printouts of all those because the administration would make me delete them. So I made sure to print them first. So the Kill 'em crew argument is still stapled together and in a file here. And every now and then
I'll hear that. Garrett Smith keeps the receipts.
I keep the receipts. I was looking the other day. I was like, man, there were some things I should have been more tactful about, and I was kind of a jerk at times. And then I'll go read through the arguments and be like, okay, I may have started something because I was a jerk, but the response was so much worse. Like I feel vindicated still. It was rough. But
I don't know if you were a jerk as much as you just intentionally pushed some buttons.
It really wasn't always intentional. Like I once told somebody, I was like, I don't like drama. It just finds me, and I'm there. I'm glad that stuff doesn't always hit us now. Now we just have Amazon and Google and all them watching our conversations to see what we're up to.
Well, Caine, when you came out of baseball and your first semester, just being a regular student, what were like some of the biggest changes that you saw?
So I think after that summer, I spent working at like summer. So I guess spring of 2008, right? And going into that summer, I stopped playing. I went and worked at a summer camp for an entire summer, and I think I learned kind of how to really appreciate people more. And I feel like that I was kind of a little bit more intentional with the people I was around and letting them know that, yeah, I really appreciate the work you did, or I'm glad that we're friends, and letting them know that I enjoyed them, and I guess that their hard work or whatever didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Which
I was a better student for sure. I think I'd taken a professor or anatomy professor's class that next semester. Yeah, going in my junior year, and I think I failed. I think they changed my grade because me and another student lobbied, but we got our grade changed. So I had one class that didn't go really well, but then I also kind of like started really kind of hit the books a little bit harder and understanding that, okay, you're gonna have to work pretty hard to get where you want to be. And for me, it was trying to get my GPA back up. I had spent more time out on the baseball field, and my GPA showed it. And so I had to really work at it because I'm not inherently the most smartest person out there. I had to really take the time and effort to understand how my brain works and how to best absorb information and I guess apply it.
And then you jumped into nursing school. You can't be an idiot and just go glide through that.
Oh, yes, you can. 100%. You so can.
You can get through it if you're an idiot, but you can't just like waltz through like it's nothing. And
I don't know, man. I've seen some anatomy like one stuff, and I don't think I'd get through one semester of nursing school.
Nope. When I'd help Hannah study when she was in nursing school, and I was just Ashton Reynolds once told me, he said, if you're dating a nursing student, you're going to suffer just as much, just in a different way. I was like, that's not possible, dude.
I would say Emily would agree with that statement for sure.
It's rough. Yeah, I would read Hannah's note cards and be like, God bless you for even being able to pass any of this, because I couldn't.
And that's one of the top reasons I didn't want to go to UMHB nursing school. Not that the nursing school I went to was easy by any means. There was just time. Like, I need to get out of this place.
Yeah.
And I needed a cheaper education option.
Heard that. Where did you do the nursing school?
I went to nursing school at UT Health in Houston. Okay. So I am a product of the University of Texas system.
Caine has more credit hours that he could claim Longhorns if he wanted than half the people that actually do.
Probably right. So going back to UMHB.
Wait, sorry. Are they Longhorns, or is it just
they technically aren't Longhorns because that's not like their mascot. The University of UT Health does not have a mascot, but they are a part of the University of Texas system.
Gotcha.
May have changed since I graduated from there, so who knows?
Well, kind of like when A&M's nursing school was not affiliated, and then they did affiliate and could give Aggie rings, but it was only retrospective to a certain point. There were so many angry graduates. Like, I went through it. Give me the ring. There
were a couple. There was like 4 or 5 girls that were in my class. They did like allied health, and they got their Aggie ring because A&M didn't have the nursing school. So they said, you know what, fine, we'll go to UT Health in the med center and get our nursing degree and keep our Aggie ring and call it a day.
Yep.
There you go.
So you left baseball, and that took you into that was after your sophomore year. So this would have been your sophomore year, Tyler's freshman year. So that kind of gets into the Friar Tuck year, which to me, just like I've said on the past couple of episodes, without us knowing, it was starting at the end of your sophomore year, like that last bit. Yeah. And I
guess my sophomore year was 2009.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody knew.
I think my
that
timeline was messed up earlier.
Well, it was pretty close. I think I didn't know that was going to form into a group. I don't think anyone else knew it was going to form into a group, but I'm glad it did. So, like, what are some of your memories going into that? Because for me, it's just the open sign was on, and you and anybody else would be in my apartment when I got home.
Yeah, I remember like I was living on. So I guess fall of 2009, I lived on campus again. I lived over in the 2-person apartment. And I think
Huckins?
No, it wasn't Huckins. It was the new 2-person apartment.
Oh yeah.
That's like when they
I remember that.
That's when they put the boxes over the thermostat.
Yeah.
That's like that first year they did that. And so, but I remember just that was like the cathedral was the place to hang. You know, I would get done with class. I didn't want to go back to my room. I was like, oh, they're probably over there. Let's go hang out. Let's go have some fun. Go to Crusader Pizza.
Yeah.
I needed cheap.
The cathedral is the place to be because one of the guys that lived there and I figured out that if you would just set a flashlight on top of that box and leave it for 10 minutes, it would heat up the plastic, and so the sensor would make the air conditioning go. Helped a lot. I heard it was like $100 fine if you got caught doing that, but whatever.
Oh well. Yeah.
So fall of 2009 though, or maybe I guess it was going into spring. When did you move into the Thunderdome?
I moved into the Thunderdome that spring semester, and
Okay.
that honestly was, so my parents had helped me move in, and my dad was trying to make sure he got back home to go watch the Alabama National Championship game, and that was the year I think my mom and dad, we rolled up into the Thunderdome, had all my stuff, and here's Tyler just passed out on the couch still. And then it frozen the night before, and the guy who owned the house didn't like have the washer and dryer hooked up to an actual sewer line. He just ran it out like the back of the house, and so the line had frozen, and someone had ran a load of laundry, and it all backed up into the house. And so my parents like stepped into like the back door there, and they step into this puddle, and they go, "What is this?"
Oh, that was the day you moved in is when it flooded?
I forgot
yes, it was.
that.
100%. Yeah.
I remember that well then, because that's the day that I quit my job at working as a waiter.
Yeah.
I was just like, I've been having so I stayed in the Thunderdome a lot over Christmas break because I was working I didn't go home for Christmas. I was working, and I was having nightmares every night of my job as a waiter. Like I would wake up like of messing up orders and stuff. And so one morning I was just like, hey man, I quit. There's water in this house I'm staying at. I gotta help fix it, and like I'm just not doing good here.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember
the manager told me,
like
he goes, "Hey man, that's probably for the best." And then I slept in. Yeah, you were right. I slept on the couch that night, and I had on my Tennessee sweater. And your dad comes in and goes, "You put that on just for us?" I'm like, "No, it's cold."
I remember
cold,
this is like right after you dumped ranch on somebody's lap, isn't it?
Yeah, well, somebody's back. Their kid's back, for specifically. Not on purpose, but yeah, that's what I found out as a waiter. If you spill food on people, they can be forgiving, but if you spill food on their kids, like you're done.
I had forgotten that all that happened when Caine moved into the Thunderdome, but I have never forgotten the day he moved out.
Wait, before we get there though, do you have what is the most memorable story of having Seth or Sam as a roommate that you can tell?
That I can tell. Oh man. I mean, it could have been the time that we just left Sam at the house for spring break 9. We just see you later, Sam. We don't have a spot for you. See ya. And so me, Garrett, Andy, Nathan, all just piled in the truck, went to Port Aransas, and Sam was just like, "Well, okay, fine. I'm just gonna stay here." I think he moved up 2 or 3 prestige levels in Call of Duty during that time. There's nothing else to do in Belton in spring break when everybody's gone.
I think he took a mini road trip of his own, if I remember. I think he went halfway to El Paso or something, and then said screw it and came back. I just remember I won't say whose decision it was. We're not actual terrible people, y'all. We one person decided to leave him, and that person I think was driving, so it was all right. We're gone.
I mean, honestly, we probably could have found a place for him. I mean, we found a place for Tyler the next year, so we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about it, man. Now I feel a little bit bad. But
Sam, if you're out there, sorry, dude.
Yeah. Where Sam, wherever you are, if you're alive, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think doing P90X in the Thunderdome was a fun one.
Yeah.
There would be 4 or 5 of us getting after the P90X. At one point, there was not enough room for all 4 of us to be working out in that thing, but yet sure as hell we tried it.
I just
Yeah,
remember
that
the
was
day
like a janky little workout class we get going there for a while. I never did it religiously, but like I would show up and just like, yeah, I'll jump in with it like on
Yeah,
random.
I was kind of the same way. It was like, I'm done. I don't want you to work out. I'm good.
You
Like
got in
I'm
good
20,
shape.
20, I'm 20 years old. I don't need to be like working out or anything. I'll just jump around and do some P90X with these guys for fun. It'll be all right.
That
I
was
think my favorite, or one of my favorite memories of hanging out at, I felt like I lived there, especially for a time,
we all felt that way.
is when Seth is like, man, I've got this great idea for a tattoo. I'm gonna get like farmer's fight on my biceps. And I'm
Yep,
like,
I was.
sweet man,
Yep,
that's
100%
awesome.
remember that, and I was like,
So
all
he
right, dude,
goes,
cool.
and then he comes back and he's like, yeah, man, check out my robot Japanese fish.
I was like, all right, dude.
I love how he, and then instead of getting a farmer's fight tattoo, he just ends up transferring to A&M. So
Yeah.
that's a weird thing. Like I mentioned, I was Caine's roommate after undergrad. I went to college with Seth twice.
That's
That's if you can even imagine. And it was many times we're just as random there. Like I remember Seth calls me one time. I'd gotten home from work. And it was just weird because I'm in grad school working 8 to 5, and Seth is finishing up his undergrad. He calls me, like, bro, get over here now. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, Bob's Burgers is on. It's time to watch. I guess I'm going to go watch Bob Burgers at Seth's house.
Were you at the Thunderdome until you graduated, or did you go to the bomb shelter and then graduate?
So yeah, I only lived at the Thunderdome for one semester, or I guess one semester and a May mini semester. That whole exit strategy was a whole other story, man. So Seth and Sam both pieced out, and they left me with paying May's rent. And I had written in my lease, because this was no like apartment, like corporate lease or anything. This was some dude that I don't know how he came about owning this house, but he owned it. And so it was just this easy like Word document that I'd signed. I was like, okay. And so I had written in there that I would only pay 1/3 of the monthly rent. And I signed it, he signed it, and we're like, all right, cool, kosher. And then May comes around and he goes, hey, I'm going to need the $700. And I'm like, well, good luck. I don't know where you're going to get the other third of the $700, because my lease says I only got to pay a third of $700. So I'm good. And that fired that dude up so much. And I mean, rightfully so, but I mean, that's not my fault.
He didn't like us too much anyway. I remember when we hauled that pool table in, and this is like 10 o'clock at night or something. We're just hauling a pool table in like college dudes, and in comes the landlord, just sneaks in behind all of us, and he's just standing there, and we're like, oh, he goes, are you starting a fraternity in this place? And I think it was Caine who was like, yeah, we are.
I mean, we were a fraternity. That's what I was. That to me was my lack of college experience from UMHB. Like I showed up at Welcome Week, and I was like, this place is church camp for adults. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna try and make this work. But like, both my parents were in fraternities, and they told me like their stories of their friendships and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I hope we get something like that. But it turned out like, no, there were no fraternities. The fraternities at UMHB were Bible studies, and that's not what I wanted as an 18-year-old. And that's what UMHB culture was. And I was just like, okay, I've got to probably find my own way, or find some other people that kind of think similar to me. And lo and behold, met you boys.
Kappa Friar Tuck.
That's right, man.
It's funny. All right, so you move out of the Thunderdome and into the bomb shelter. Right. Would you care to elaborate, to give us a blast from the past on where that name came from?
The bomb shelter, I would say it came from us probably the year before, watching way too much Jersey Shore and drinking way too much beer. There was a term on Jersey Shore that the guys that would hook up with ugly chicks, those ugly chicks were called grenades. And we didn't want to have, we were the bomb shelter. We were protected from those grenades.
I would
love
like
it. I never really followed Jersey Shore or anything,
No,
but
yeah,
anytime I was
neither did
over with
Neither
y'all
did
and
we.
you were watching it, I found it so entertaining to almost watch you watch Jersey Shore in a group setting. It was great.
I know, like Thursday nights were great. Those were our Jersey Shore, those were our Jersey Shore nights, and it was a combination of three things. It was a combination of dollar margarita night at I don't remember what the Mexican
Taqueria.
restaurant was, and it was a combination of dollar margarita night, Jersey Shore, and intramural softball. And we did those three things religiously, and the order would always change. So if we showed up to dollar margarita night before softball, we knew it was going to be a great night. And then usually Jersey Shore would happen after, because it came on at like 9 or 10 o'clock. But still, that's Jersey. We can thank Jersey Shore, the situation, and all those guys for our term of the bomb shelter.
And now one of those ones on Dancing with the Stars or something like that. I don't know. Hannah was watching it. I was like, is that one of the dudes? And like they had the whole Jersey Shore cast there.
Oh yeah.
If Friar Tuck was a famous thing, which one of us would they pick to be on Dancing with the Stars? Like,
Not me.
I vote Nathan.
I got no rhythm.
So my favorite bomb shelter memory, because this is after I was out of college, but I'd come back and visit, and I came over there one night. I think it was Tyler and I were over there. Hannah was there. I think Zach was there for a while. And so this story kind of loops into some latter-day Tuck action, but the guys would call each other and that was just like the dudes thing.
It was a term of endearment.
It was a term of endearment.
Yeah,
Well, the reason we call it that is because
have you told
Tyler,
like, the origin of that story?
Well, that's where I'm going. Is Tyler
Okay.
left he left the bomb shelter for a minute, and I was texting our friend Liz, who was back in town, and she and another friend were coming over. Caine didn't know this.
I thought this was back at the Thunderdome.
No, this happened at the bomb shelter.
Really? I thought it was earlier than that too. Okay.
I remember. Okay, so I remember this chick Liz, but I thought she was at the Thunderdome.
No, it was because I had to walk outside and give her directions through that.
Oh yeah, because our apartment complex looked exactly like another apartment complex right there.
Yeah, and there was that winding road at the bottom.
Right.
So they had gone around there, and I went outside to give them directions. And so I bring these two girls in. Caine thinks it's Tyler. And he goes, "Hey, I see you brought some with you." And these two girls are standing there. And Emily looks at him and goes, "It's a term of endearment." That was bomb shelter gold. I think the worst was when I went to the bathroom and I heard somebody coming. So instead of doing it what the sensible person would do and just leave the bathroom, I just jumped and hid in the shower. And then unfortunately it was Jill. So I was like, oh crap. Oh gosh. Yeah, she and Kevin should have and could have punched me for that, but gracefully they didn't. All right. So after the bomb shelter was when you graduated, because I think we did a second burning of the notes somewhere. I don't remember where we burned them.
It was probably after graduation extravaganza 2.0.
2.0.
So graduation extravaganza 2.0 was the night before we graduated, and needless to say, I showed up on time.
Yep.
That was about it. I showed up on time. I had my shirt on. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna be freaking cool. I'm gonna wear a bow tie.
Yeah.
All right. And so here I am, hungover as all get out, in the bathroom at the Bell County Expo Center, trying to get my bow tie tied as best I can. I get it just good enough so it looks like it's done in a picture. I'm like, okay. All while I'm just pouring sweat down my face because it's May. It's Central Texas. It's hot, and I'm lucky that it didn't all bleed through my shirt, because my back was sharpied with I don't know who. I think it goes back to Sammy Berg, but nonetheless, there was like I had to throw that like white collared shirt out because it had stained from blue Sharpie and all the sweat of the alcohol I was trying to get out as I sat through graduation.
Whether it's graduations or wedding rehearsals, I just love recovering from drinking outings with you before events go down. Yeah, man, I forgot about the bow tie thing. None of us were ever smart enough to say, hey, let's have a graduation party after we graduate. No, we're like, hey, let's just last hoorah this thing 12 hours before we have to be on a stage.
Yeah, like graduation extravaganza, I guess 1.0
Stonehenge
was yes at Stonehenge, and that like by far one of the best parties we ever had.
Yeah,
I mean, we had it all. We had foods. We had guys that were graduating. Someone invited an RA, by God.
Yeah,
and that person wasn't. It was not really glad that we were there, and some people got really like freaked out. Hang on.
That blended actually. So it was the first party of the next year at Welcome Week, and I came back and surprised everyone.
That was the backyardigan party.
Yeah, and that was who invited the RA.
Oh, the backyardigans.
The graduation extravaganza 1.0 was hilarious because the block was a block away, and so like we partied a lot my senior year, but like we didn't who knows what would have happened if we had invited a ton of people, but we kept them pretty small. Like we knew what our group was comfortable with, and so we just partied within a group. But
we knew our group was comfortable with naked Nathan Berryman running around naked in the neighborhood. Yeah, we were cool with that.
A diaper. So we
were very low key.
Yeah. But the block, it was 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever. They're leaving their parties. And so, folks, if the football and soccer and baseball players are leaving their party and we're still going, it was a good time. And they start showing up to our party. And so we had this house packed. And I just remember, so a story that was told on the last podcast with the thermometer and the donations people had to give just to get us out of school. The reason we couldn't reimburse everyone is because Caine grabbed the jug of money and goes, we got this. And he and Nathan disappeared. Or no, it wasn't Nathan. It was you and somebody else. And you were like, we got this. Trust us. So for about 3 or 4 days, we had a
great story. I had no idea, but okay.
Oh, yeah. You had the biggest grin on your face. You walk out with that change, and Nathan and I are like, well, he's got a plan. I don't know what it is, but because the fine ended up not getting processed, they're going to come after me like a decade later and be like, oh, you owe us money. They didn't process the fine, and we weren't going to tell them. So Caine takes the money. We walk into our graduation party, and there's these big bottles of like Jack Daniels and Captain Morgan with like Christmas bows on them. And it's like, good luck, happy graduation. And that was a crazy night. Extravaganza 3.0 was kind of wild too. That was the Brett Myers one at the embassy, because every place had a name. And I just remember it was weird because people that previously didn't always like us came over and it was fine. And then you had like some of the old groups started showing up. Like I remember Catherine and Rachel walk in, and I was like, what was that? Like it was just kind of like this regathering for Brett's. And then I think that was also the night we met Patty. So the story from the previous podcast was Seth and Patty was from that. But yeah, there were, I think, 5 or 6 of those graduation extravaganzas by the time the last Tuck walked the stage. So,
and I think I only actually went to one of those. And then when I graduated, what'd you say, 2? Was it 2?
Oh.
You went to 2.
2.
You were at graduation 2.0 for sure.
Oh no, yeah, was that at the bomb shelter?
Yeah,
yes,
you were.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
You gave the toast. You gave the toast.
We'll save that story for later.
Yeah, that's right. But no, by the time I graduated, I was just so over school and graduation. I was like, guys, I'm getting married in a month. Like, I'm just. Who cares?
We had there was at one point you swore you were just never going to graduate, and so we went to Northgate in College Station for your I'm not graduating party.
No, that was because I dropped out of school at that point, and my dad got me the job at the furniture store in Houston, And I'm like, you know what? I don't need school. I'm probably not going to be in ministry because apparently God doesn't want me to because I can't afford my school to be a pastor. So like,
Right.
this is my life now.
So we just kept
I'm
building
gonna
a
go sell
testimony.
furniture. We're gonna make money. It's gonna be all just fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be the
it was
next
awful.
mattress
It was
Mac.
literally the worst year of my life.
For anyone that I'm gonna leave a cliffhanger on that story. Just tell y'all don't need to know how the story ended. We ruined a rental car. So, moving forward. So
Only the outside.
only the outside. So you get out of college, you start nursing school, and you started that what 2011.
Yeah. August of 2011 was my first semester.
You made all these friends in nursing school, and plus by then I had around that time I think I met. No, I met them later. I met one of your high school. I met Anderson at your New Year's your New Year's party.
Yeah.
In when 2012 arrived, and I'm really glad Hannah was there. Hannah's not glad, but I'm glad there was a nurse who already had their degree there.
Yeah.
I won't go into all the details
No,
of
Hannah
that
and
one.
Hannah, like, remember, Hannah's so much younger than us. Hannah and I were in nursing school at the same time.
Oh yeah, she wasn't graduated yet. Yeah, she just had to be the
Right.
nurse that night. There was an individual there who regurgitated a very bright blue drink onto very white carpet. And I remember Hannah and I and well, I took Caine upstairs, helped tuck him into bed, read him a bedtime story, went downstairs, and then Hannah's cleaning up the stain. So fast forward to a year later when I'm living in Caine's house, and then we did a spotless job cleaning that house, y'all. We did not trash the house.
For real.
It looked like you could move in that day. I'm sitting there watching TV, and Caine's mom walks past me, and she kind of like trips, stumbles, or something, and then she looks and she does a double take and just examines the carpet for a minute, and I'm sitting there like, "There's no way." There's no way. And then she just goes, and just walks on. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Love you, Mom. Appreciate it. My mom and dad have no idea that story happened. So when they watch this, well, there you go, Mom and Dad. Don't worry about it. That carpet is long gone now.
Apologies to Alex, Melissa Taylor. Hannah cleaned her house very thoroughly. So yeah, I living in that extra room in that house was great for both of us.
Yeah.
Very stressful political campaign, and plus it saved me from having to live in A-Leaf. So I greatly appreciate that to this day. I just remember at that time we had a Twitter account for the fictional being Friar Tuck that we just trolled each other with it. And I remember your dad walking in the room one day, no context, just looks up and goes, "Who is Friar Tuck?" And we just like lost it. Like,
yeah, they tell my dad about Friar Tuck Fridays, and he goes, "That's pretty sweet."
Those Fridays continued into that house. And then so fast forwarding to when you graduated nursing school, I'm trying to remember the gap of time to when you graduated nursing school and when you moved to Dallas and got married. I can't remember the time period in between because you got married like a few months after us.
So I guess I graduated, took my national exam, and then moved to Dallas in February of 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got married, and Emily and I got married in October of 13.
Y'all, their wedding was dope because the groom's room was like where Lee Harvey Oswald got framed. It was this like room looking down at the grassy. It wasn't really that room, but it was pretty darn close. I think that was the grassy knoll down there, wasn't it? Like right
close enough.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was because I just remember looking at that window and I saw Andrew Freeman walking downstairs. So I just started pounding on the window and like dirty dancing at him from the top of this courthouse. But that was also where I get to bleep myself again. Anderson, we're lined up to go into the ceremony, and there's this video of a guy talking like Morgan Freeman called, and we're walking into the ceremony, and Anderson holds the phone over my shoulder. He goes, "Dude, you ever seen this?" I've been known to show people YouTube videos at random times, but that might be the most random time I've ever been shown a YouTube video. So we're walking in, people are like singing a hymn or something, and I'm gonna hear this, "I love," while we're walking in. And it was great because that's how the wedding planner was like, "I'm gonna have to like quarantine Anderson and Kieschnick," and she looks at me, she's like, I think you're okay. And your mom's like, no, he's just quieter about it. Yeah. So you've lived in Fate ever since. I always forget that's the name of a place. But y'all been in the same location a while. That's awesome.
We've been here for 7 years now. I think so. Yeah.
Time flies.
You definitely get the coolest job of all the tech bros. I must say.
Get you the chopper.
There's some days it's cool. There's some days it's not. I mean, it's just like any job.
What's that?
But on the not cool days, you're in a helicopter, and I'm not.
You're not. Yeah.
Isn't there some like? Don't you have to go to Oklahoma a lot? Like, there's some area of Oklahoma y'all are always having to go to, or was that like a different flight job or something?
I guess the company I worked at before, there was a small little section of Southeast Oklahoma that we would have to frequent very often, and it ended up leading to us taking patients to like Oklahoma City or Tulsa, and basically just being in a helicopter for a really, really long amount of time that I didn't want to be in a helicopter for.
Was it Idabel? What was it called?
Idabel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just remember we were at Brett's wedding and we saw a sign for Idabel, and you're just like, oh gosh.
Don't get sick. Don't get sick in Idabel, Oklahoma.
Dude, the one you're with now, it was funny. So when Charlotte was born, I'm sitting there and like Hannah had been in labor forever. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like playing Pokemon or something. And I just look out the window, the helicopter lands. I'm like, hey, I think that's one. That might be Caine. So I like texted a picture. I was like, this y'all. He's like, that's our company. And Caine's like, why are you in the hospital? I was like, oh, Pop having a baby. So
no big deal.
No big deal. I'm in labor. So.
Yeah. No big deal for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you are a father, and I say that like that's new. You're a father before I was. So you
right.
I finally got to meet the little one. It was this past year, I think, right? Y'all came through Temple. Yeah, so that was cool. Got to take her out to Dead Fish Grill.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Lila's I guess 3.5. She'll be 4 here in May. In school Monday through Friday. It goes 12 to 3. It's been the greatest thing for her.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Super cool.
Did they shoot the cannon off while you wwere there?
Oh, at Dead Fish. I think meant the school. I'm like, why would they
school? Yeah. Lila, here comes Lila.
2023. You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think they did shoot the cannon off. I don't even remember asking.
No, they didn't do it while we were. I mean, I've lived here since 2019 now, and I can't remember the last time I've heard it go off.
Oh, really?
I think they were prepping it when my side business, we hosted like a boat race out there one time, and I think they were getting ready to do something with the cannon. Gotcha. Not like when A&M fired it off at Kyle Field between those two football players this past year. I forgot who it was. They were just sitting right there, and they've been told, "No, go to the other end." Oh, we're gonna pray here.
Dude, Whitewater did that to UMHB players this year too.
Did they really?
Almost exactly the same.
That's a great segue into a question we ask everybody. But first, we did skip a very important legacy fact for Caine here. You were the general manager and star player of Reggie's Kids.
Yeah,
both seasons. I actually have my shirt sitting across the room right now in a pile of laundry.
I've got a box of shirts that I refuse to get rid of. It's got all my intramural team shirts in there. No, it's nostalgia for me.
When we get Pipes and Spencer on here eventually, I got to wear my El Fuego shirt that I barely fit in. But my favorite Reggie's Kids thing was getting to be the chaplain / soccer mom / announcer. And so
DJ.
Andy had a PA on his truck that we would give people walk-up songs. And there will never be a greater softball play in history than the line drive to the face that somebody took during one of your games. I will also probably never see Seth Prohaska laugh as hard as he did in that moment. Or Hannah try not to laugh.
Or when a certain someone decided they wanted to quit in the middle of the game and they thought okay, guess what? I'm going to quit. And then if I quit, they don't have enough players. And we said, okay, fine. Hannah's right here ready to play. And we just let that person walk.
I don't remember who. Oh, I think I do actually. I remember the one time Hannah, she had had an outfield play, and I just remember Seth was like, "Fire, like, go, Hannah, go!" I'm like, Seth yelling at Hannah. This is probably a one and only time thing we're ever gonna see. My second favorite Reggie's Kids thing though was a certain somebody that talked trash about all of us, not knowing Brett was in hearing distance, and then turns around and sees Brett. Oh, except you, Brett, you're cool. And so I remember on the team huddle, we put all our hands in the middle on the count of threes. 1, 2, 3, douche. And then you almost run ruled it because it was 13-1, and that guy who said all that stuff was the only one on their team that scored. It's like, wow. I think it would be great if there was a Reggie's Kid reunion game where we're all in our 30s.
Oh, I'd love it.
I mean, yeah,
we were pretty good. We antagonized people, and people got mad at us, but we were good. I mean, we were no Purdue, but shout out Juan Thomas. I mean, like guy had a dynasty. You weren't gonna mess with that.
No, I loved. If we had like a charitable cause to do a game for, count me in, and I'm gonna adjust my hat. Hold on.
Here we go. All right. Well, while you're at UMHB, what was your favorite sports memory? Be it as a player, as on the rec field, or as a fan in the stands?
As a fan in the stands, am I allowed to say my favorite story that involves two individuals in body paint?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I can't take it away from them. Like that was their moment, but
hey, they were offered an episode and had to reschedule, so early bird gets the worm.
I mean, we'll let them introduce themselves, but it was a playoff basketball game. This was like the year after I'd stopped playing baseball, so I was like, okay, I'll go. Let's go enjoy this. Let's do the student section thing. Let's yell at people. Let's go have a good time. These two individuals thought it would be a great idea to paint their body in a purple and gold checkerboard all across their chest and wear a Speedo with it. And I was all for it. And they were going to sit behind the goal and distract the opposite team's guy shooting a free throw. Well, they picked their spot and we're like, okay. And they don't do a coin toss in basketball. What am I thinking? But we had to wait. We had to wait the entire first half for this to happen. And I just remember being so excited and so just like ready for this to happen. And sure enough, we found one of their guys. I'm like, okay. And I turned to y'all and I turned to Emily and I said, all right, this is it. This is get your popcorn ready. We're about to have a whole lot of fun right here. And sure enough, one of the guys is a little bit larger, a lot more to love. And this guy, he takes a couple practice bounces, gets his rhythm. Boom, like practice, like shorts come off, like ripped off, and everybody starts going bananas. And here they are, purple Speedos with this purple and gold checkerboard on there, just loving life, yelling at people, and having a great time. And the guy missed the free throw, I think. I mean, if he did, he did. But I mean, why let the truth get in the way of a good story? Okay.
Oh my god.
But still, like to this day, one of my favorite memories. And then I think what was even better was the aftermath after it, and the letters that were written, and published.
The newspaper article.
Yes, for the newspaper article that these people got so bent out of shape for. And honestly, yeah, it was a great time. Like that's what it was. It was good, clean fun. Were we yelling profanities at people? No. Were we being absolutely obnoxious college kids? Yes, and that's what we were supposed to be doing at college. And the people that wrote the editorial articles just didn't get it. They wanted UMHB from the women's college days. And that's just what they wanted. But
unfortunately,
we kind of got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I pointed this out on the episode Emily was on. I said, the one game I went to this year, any UMHB sporting event, it was that moment where I looked and I was like, okay, they tried to bring the couch group back and it didn't work. They have officially won, and it is ugly because I left. It was like 2 minutes into the second quarter. I was like, I can't watch this happen. I'm going home. But
man, speaking of UMHB basketball, like I listened to the episode last week or last one. And I was like, I did a deep dive on what that coach was yelling. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
Didn't know a UMHB coach was going to get that fired up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
all right, cool.
I enjoyed seeing the different athletes on Twitter kind of debate about if they get similar treatments, because there was some who were like, they never yelled at us that way, and then there was some who were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely got that. Did you ever get anything like that when you were on the baseball team?
I probably did. I wasn't good enough to get yelled at anyways. So, but I mean, definitely I definitely had my attitude as a member of the team for sure. I mean, we probably blew up a couple run lead or played some bad defense or something like that, but made some silly mistakes that, I mean, but if you're a college athlete, more often than not, you're probably going to get chewed because you're expected to play at a higher level. I mean, you're here for a reason, and it's because you're good, and your coaches got you there for a reason, because they know that you're in the right spot to be, and they expect you to execute.
Yeah, baseball is where I finally got kicked out as a fan and never went back. So because I kept yelling, "Where's Sagu? First player to tell me won't get heckled." I made that offer to everyone through like 2 full batter rotations before they finally were like, "You yell again, you're gone." I'm like, and I think I said something I got kind of heated. I said, "Let me save you the trouble. I'm out." And I just left.
You're like, how do you pronounce the name of your town?
Yeah. What's a Waxahachie?
I think that was probably like the one game I played in. Like,
no, this was
in that game.
No, I was. This was my senior year, so I was kind of like, I'm done. Like, I'm out.
Oh,
yeah.
But my sophomore year, I didn't get a whole lot of PT, but that was one of the ones I got. I mean, it's just because we were up a whole bunch of runs, but I got in the game, and that was my.
We probably
my
did
college
heckle
career
while you were playing though, because Tatenda was still there, and as long as Tatenda was still there, you were still allowed to do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we definitely heckled there. I just remember I left that game, went straight to Crusader Pizza, and then we told Brent what happened, and he was madder than we were, like, for us. Great.
Is there a tradition at UMHB that you didn't get to take part in, but you wished you would have?
Ooh. I wish I had gotten in.
Missions emphasis week.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that like it's a bad
traditions. Like, I mean, I got dubbed as a Crusader. Yeah, I did that. I smoked a cigar at the senior bell.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything. I felt like I was like, I missed out on this. Like, this would have been great. Yeah, everyone says like Easter pageant or something like that, or that just wasn't my bag when I was there. Was like Easter pageant or Crusader Nights. That was not good stuff for the campus, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But there's anything. I don't think so.
Tell people, like,
I know it's kind of anticlimactic.
No,
and not good for the viewership.
No, it's like, because I tell you, like, you were not a quiet individual by any means. You were like Tyler and me, but you were like almost like a silent weapon almost, because you weren't in all those things.
Well, I kind of had a similar thing. Like,
yeah.
I didn't do a whole lot, to be honest. I was really involved in couch crew.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, I wasn't involved in stuff. I had an internship. That was about it. Yeah.
What's your favorite one you did do though? Like, of all the things you did participate in, what was like your favorite?
Gotta be play day.
Oh yes.
Okay, but how did you celebrate play day?
I mean, the way that the people that didn't participate in play day at UMHB celebrated play day.
Oh, I know.
We took the day off. We went to the lake drinking.
Exactly. I remember the alternate welcome week rec time that we had too, because my group was like, I didn't want to like give my welcome week group a bad attitude about UMHB, so I was hyping everything up. I just remember Caine walks up. And I won't reference who he was talking about when he said this, but he goes, "Yo, Emily and I were talking about taking our group to the lake, and this angry little bowling ball rolls up and starts yelling at me." and Emily chimes in. She goes, "What he's trying to say is, would you like to take your group to the lake with us?" And I looked at my group, and they were all
instead of doing whatever we are going to do here at college Bible camp.
It backfired on me though.
We had some good times at the lake. Burning of the notes we did at the lake one year. That was great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Our first Tuck barbecue.
That's right. The Halloween barbecue we did.
Yeah.
I was invited to go to a Halloween party with, and this person drove to my apartment to show me their very small outfit they were wearing, and I was like, okay. And then what did I do? I stayed a bro. Caine's like, let's cook out. I'm like, let's do that. Much to the judgment of others, I'm sure. Article 1. So we got about 4 minutes left here. Favorite thing about all the other Tuck dudes, because they're such random personalities in that thing.
I think to say the same thing for all of them is all the guys were usually down for about anything. You know, whether it was having a barbecue and doing P90X in the Thunderdome, or you know, deciding, you know what, let's prank our own campus. That's probably another story for another time for another person. But yeah, we were always like, okay, let's go have some fun. Like that, let's go antagonize some people. That, I feel like that's what I remember the most, was like, let's just go antagonize some people and see what happens. And most of the time we got away with it. Most of the time that people didn't like it. Yeah, goal achieved. You know,
my sophomore year, I had a roommate whose girlfriend will remain nameless, who was always annoyed by my antics and would always go, "Why, Tyler? Why?" And I would say, "Why not?" is actually the question you should be asking. And yeah, I agree. That's why I loved our group, is because we had a bunch of people who were just down for anything, and they didn't say why. They said, "Why not?"
and everyone had this like uncanny ability to have the ability to practice faith-informed discernment in a global society.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation was, there was always faith-informed discernment in a global society.
Like if we sit on this mattress and roll it down a hill, do we have faith that we're going to make it? We were using discernment.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna go to Walmart and buy a shower curtain for it. It'll be just fine.
That is some true faith-informed discernment.
We will never get through an episode without that snow day. And now instead of living, you know, with that, now we just live on purpose. That's our. We're gonna butcher some prepositions and set a life goal.
Well, it's better than living on accident, I guess.
I guess there's worse things you can do. Oops. I'm glad we got to do this. I know that since like the beginning of this podcast, it's been in the works and a long time coming. So
yeah,
thanks for carving out the time.
I'm glad you guys, you know, decided to start this and I've gotten some, I guess, some concrete ideas to put together, so that people that do kind of care about UMHB can kind of see the way we saw UMHB through our lens.
Yeah,
because it was probably different than everyone else's.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's definitely true. And you know, I find it fitting that when we were at UMHB, we were kind of a little bit on the, not outcast is not really the right word, but you know, we were just seen as those guys. And you know what? There's actually an official alumni podcast, but we're the rowdy ones, kind of doing it our own way.
Can you imagine a crossover?
Is there an alumni podcast?
There was. Is there still?
There is.
Okay.
I actually need to check that out. The alumni office sent me something really nice the other day, and so if they're watching this and not shaking their heads, thank you for the letter and the book and all that stuff. Really, really good stuff. So yeah.
Don't cancel us.
Don't cancel us, please. Awesome. Caine, you take care, man. We'll holler at you soon.
Thanks for coming.
Take it easy, boys. It was a pleasure.
Well, it's 9:24 and HSU
still sucks.
Still sucks.